Welcome gamers, we're back with more Terrordrome, Reign of the Legends, and today we're going to take a look at the character Bloody Mary, with a focus on her special fighting attack maneuvers, as well as her fatalities. Yes, there are in fact fatalities in this game. Now, that was something that I briefly touched on in the last video, but at the time I really didn't completely understand how they worked. But now that I've had a chance to really dive deeper in this game, things like the fatalities and the special fighting attack maneuvers are really starting to make more sense. And so we're going to go ahead and talk about that now. So for starters, each character in this game has 2 special fighting attack maneuvers. Likewise, all characters also have 2 fatalities. Now, the fatalities in this game are actually called death sentences, and as it turns out, each of the fatalities are actually an extension of the character's special fighting attack maneuvers. And so we're going to go ahead and we're going to check out all of this right now here in this video. I'm going to do several fights with Bloody Mary, and we're going to take a look at her special fighting attack maneuvers and see how they compare to her actual fatalities. And man, are the fatalities in this game ever wicked. They are just brutal. So here is one of her special fighting attack maneuvers right here. It's called the Helper Blood Serpent. This giant demonic bloody red skull with an elongated neck that comes out of the ground, grips her opponents, chews them up, and spits them back out. And of course, she also has a subsequent fatality for that attack as well, and it's called Something Wicked. Now, instead of spitting the opponents out, the Blood Serpent actually chews them up and then swallows them whole. And you're going to see that here in just a couple minutes. So, now, we're going to go ahead and talk a little bit about Bloody Mary herself. So, each of the characters in this game has their advantages and disadvantages compared to the other characters. Now, to Bloody Mary's advantage, she is one of the fastest characters in the game, and she can really do an incredible amount of damage with that knife with long chain combos. Now, to her detriment, she doesn't have a very good reach, not so much as a comparison to other characters like Mr. Hyde. Now, also to her advantage, though, is her ability to teleport behind your enemies and execute a surprise attack. And it also helps to break her out of long chain combos from her opponents, because she doesn't have the reach. When the other opponents start executing long chain combos on her, they're really difficult to break. But if you can teleport behind your opponent, you can really get ahead. That's another one of her special attacks right there, that Shard Blast, and that too also has a fatality, though it's not really as epic, in my opinion, as compared to the fatality of Blood Serpent. And so, something else to note about this game, the AI is absolutely brutal. If you defend too much, the AI really punish you. It will just start launching a huge barrage of long chain combos on you, and they're really difficult to break if you defend. You really need to have a counter-offensive strategy. So that was another one of her, that was one of her fatalities, the Shard Blast. And we're going to see the Blood Serpent death sentence. We're going to see that fatality too in just a moment here.
I can sense.
And so far so good. This game is a lot of fun to play. As I mentioned in the last video, for those who haven't seen it, there is 8 playable characters in this game right now. 2 were recently added, and it looks like there's about 4 more characters on the way. This character, the Sasquatch, this Bigfoot character, I tried playing as him, and man, the controls are not good with him. I had a lot of difficulty pulling off both his special attack maneuvers and his fatalities. I may still try to do a video with him just because, but I really went into trouble with him. I didn't feel like he's a very playable character. Now, the AI is really good with him. That's another thing to note about the AI in this game. It is not stupid. It is really smart. And you really have to have a counter-offensive strategy against your opponents. If you defend too much, it will punish you for it. Now, this Sasquatch character is really tough for Bloody Mary to fight because he is so tall and he has a really good reach with this elongated club that he swings. But Bloody Mary has that teleport ability, and you can see I'm really making use of it, making good use of it here to evade these attacks, and it works. It's very effective. Now, something else to note about this game is that this was a huge turn with the characters as compared to the developer's original title, which was Terrordrome Rise of the Boogeyman. That was all. I also mentioned this last video. All the characters in this game are all based on mythology and classic war literature. There was some copyright issues with the characters that they used from classic war films in the last game, so they changed course a bit. So check this out. Look at this. Just absolutely brutal. It just swallows the victim's whole. And look at how she reacts to it. She just pets it, treats it like a dog. It's just crazy. And so now we're gonna fight this this killer clown character called This. Now, he's kind of inspired by classic horror mythology. Killer clowns are nothing new. I can see. And I think he's also partially inspired by Stephen King's It. He's got this chainsaw. I did do a couple fights with him in the last video, but I really didn't completely understand all of his fighting maneuvers at the time. I've really come to better understand them as well now. He is one of the more well-balanced characters in the game. I'm probably going to do a full playthrough with him in the near future as well. I really do like playing as him. He has a lot of projectile attacks, and he has good reach. He's not the fastest, and he's certainly not the slowest character. Bloody Mary, though, she can just zip around the screen. She is so fast. But then again, like I said before, she doesn't do the amount of damage per hit as some of the other characters do. Now, she does have kick attacks, and that does give her some reach, but they are incredible. Those are actually her slowest attacks out of all of her fighting maneuvers in this game. Now, with characters like this killer clown, you know, I tried to use the teleport feature, but he's pretty slick. He's just, you know, he's got this incredible amount of reach with that chainsaw, and it makes it really difficult to target him. Look at that. Look at those knife attacks. She can do just a ton of damage with that. It's just pulling off the combos. So another thing to note about this, it's really, you know, winning the game really comes down to timing. I mean, you really have to time your hits right. You really have to think ahead for the next hit. Like I said, if you have a really strong defensive strategy here, you're just gonna get wiped out. I mean, the game's gonna punish you for it. So now you're probably wondering, how do the fatalities in this game actually work? How do you pull them off? Well, here's how they function. Okay, you have a green energy meter, and that has to be completely full. Likewise, you have to be in the last fight of the match. So if it's the best 2 out of 3 matches, you have to pull off the fatality at the end of the second fight, the end of the second match. And another thing to note is that your opponent's life meter has to be super low. I mean, they have to be like on the verge of death. So you cannot pull off fatalities in the first fight, or even the second fight if you're doing the best, say, 3 out of 4 matches. And you can change that from the option settings in the game. Alright. So that's just something to note. Now you can pull off, you can execute the special fighting attack maneuvers at any time once your green energy meter is full. But the fatalities, like I said, that has to be in the last fight of the match, and your opponent's your energy meter has to be full, and your opponent's life meter has to be almost totally drained. Now this Alex Van Helsing guy, man, he is tough. He is fast. He has these really powerful projectile attacks, these green orbs, and then of course he's got this axe. And he is one of the harder characters to beat in this game. I had a lot of trouble fighting this guy. Even on easy, he seemed really tough. He gets into this barrages of combos, and he will just pin you against the wall, and it's really difficult to break them. And so here we are with that Blood Serpent again, and you can see that, wow, actually almost killed him right there. It's really close. Not close enough though. And he has this dog. Van Helsing has this dog, this vicious mutt that comes out and attacks you. It does very little damage though. Now, I haven't checked out his fatalities yet, his death sentences. I played this briefly, but I didn't get a chance to actually look at how his fatalities work. I'm assuming one of them probably has something to do with that dog. I wouldn't doubt it. You can see this, he's got me pinned against this wall. He is really tough to maneuver away from once he pins you back. But again, like I said, Bloody Mary's got that teleport feature, and that can really make or break the fight. And so anyways, that is Bloody Mary, and I'm glad I got a chance to better explain how things like the fatalities and the special fighting maneuvers work in this game. And so your life meter, I mean your energy meter, like I said, once that's full, oh, he broke my combo. I was just getting ready to execute the Shard Blast on him. The Shard Blast Death Sentence fatality. And so anyways, that is Bloody Mary. I'm going to start working on reviewing some more characters in the game, so you guys can check them out as well. The game is currently available on Steam for $14.95. For those who aren't aware, it is an early access. This is not a complete game, so it does have some ways to go. But if you buy the game now, you will get all the additions that are added to it for free. It will cost you nothing, and you will not have to pay full price when the game is officially released. And like I said, it is a playable game. There is 8 characters to play as, and there are more on the way. So anyways, if you really like this video, please consider giving a thumbs up and subscribing. We're going to have more. I'm going to work on covering more characters from this game in the near future. And until next time, take care.